What's up, everybody? This is D, Comic Book Ranting, and I've got a new video for you guys. This is a spoiler slash comic book review. So, if you haven't read the Civil War II and Plan to, issue 3, it just came out this week. If you plan to and you don't want to know what happens and you want to keep it a secret, go read it and then come back later. If not, I'm going to give you a review of what's going on, but this is absolutely a spoiler. And also, I'm going to say right up front that this issue is about the death of the Incredible Hulk, Bruce Banner, which is huge in the Marvel Universe. So this is probably one of those issues that, people will remember for years to come. If you're a collector, you might want to go pick this one up. That's Civil War II, issue 3. So let's just get right into it. I'm gonna go over what happens in the issue, and then we'll talk a little bit about the implications. So, right here, I'm gonna give you the background. Earth heroes prevented a cataclysmic event thanks to a new inhuman named Ulysses. And this is big. This is kind of what the Civil War II is about. So if you remember Civil War, the first Civil War, it was over not mutant registration, but hero registration. That was the issue that kind of divided this hero community. It's going to be this ability of the inhuman Ulysses to see the future. So, and then what to do about his visions. So that's the issue at hand in this Civil War. After Captain Marvel chooses to act on one of his visions and ambush Thanos, She-Hulk was left in a coma and Jim Rhodes, aka War Machine, was killed. Also a big event in this issue is War Machine dying, but I think we can all agree that Hulk is a bigger deal. So carry on. The death of his best friend galvanized Tony Stark against Carol, and he abducted Ulysses, trying to find out how the Inhuman's power worked. When the other heroes arrived to confront Iron Man, Ulysses hit them with a vision of the Hulk going on a murderous rampage, leading Captain Marvel to seek out the reclusive Bruce Banner at his mountain lab. As tension arises, each hero will have to make a choice: protect the future or change the future. So that's the issue again. Protect the future or change the future. Change the future, that's Carol Danvers' side. She wants to go out and act on these visions. Protect the future, that's Tony Stark's side. He wants to see proof. He doesn't want to make these drastic decisions based on visions. Another thing about Ulysses' powers is that his visions are unique in that he doesn't just have some sort of dream. He actually brings people who are related to the visions into the visions, and they experience it as if it's actually happening. So this vision of Hulk going on a murderous rampage is the vision that all the heroes are dying at the hands of the Hulk, and that people are seeing. So when you look at the cover of this, that's what we're seeing. It's not the events that happen in the book. This is actually kind of related to the vision. So everyone sees this. So going back to the cover, we all sort of the rumor or the predictions by some is that at the end of Civil War II, Iron Man will be killed. So we see this, we see the cover, and we're thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe this is the issue that Iron Man is killed in, but that's actually not what's happening. This is from Ulysses' vision, so this is a possible future and not the actual end of Iron Man. All right, so let's get started here. First page of the story, we come into a Manhattan courthouse. Matt Murdock, Daredevil, as we know him, is the district attorney, and we have some sort of trial here. And he's calling up Carol Danvers, and she's saying that yes, I was part of a group from the superhuman community that went to Utah to talk to Bruce Banner. And then we get into sort of her recollection of the events. So it's sort of a flashback here. So we go in, and Carol is talking to Bruce, and Tony Stark is there as well. So they come in and they're saying, "Hey, what are you doing here? What's going on?" And Bruce is, actually shocked to see them. But he's like, "Hey, this is my hidden, kind of hideaway. It's a lab no one's known about. How do you know about it?" But Carol's, she's right down to business. Like, what are you doing? Are you experimenting? Is this gamma related? What's going on here? And Bruce really doesn't know what's happening. He's like, I don't understand. Why are you guys here? Tony Stark's like, hey man, just answer the questions. Let's get through this. And he's like, what we see here is sort of a revelation, and that Bruce Banner hasn't hulked out in over a year. So he's saying, hey, my work here has prevented me from hulking out in over a year. This is great stuff. And then, he sees the grim looks from Carol and Tony. He's like, wait a minute, have I hulked out? And again, they're kind of being cryptic here, which may be a problem, but they're kind of being cryptic here. It's like, hey, let's continue talking about this, but let's do it outside. So they're like, hey, calm down. We're going to go outside. Outside, we see like all the heroes. So we have the few hero groups here represented. We've got some X-Men here. We've got some Avengers here. We've got Inhumans here. We've got both Captain Americas, both Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Peter Parker. So everyone's here. And then, Tony Stark is like, hey, don't freak out. You haven't done anything. And then we see Medusa, Queen of the Inhumans, saying, you haven't done anything yet. So everyone's here, and it looks like, no one wants to really take any action just yet. We've got a relaxed posture from everyone, so it's not as serious. But then we go back to the courtroom, and Matt Murdock has called Tony Stark to the stand, and now we're going to kind of see things from his perspective as we continue on. So we go back into the flashback. Bruce Banner's still like, hey, I don't know what's going on here. So Carol kind of introduces, Ulysses to Bruce, and they're like, hey, here's Ulysses, say hi. Ulysses, kind of a timid, meek young youth who has these visions. He's kind of he's kind of trying to lay back and sit back and not really be exposed to this situation. And then they, kind of tell Bruce what's going on. He sees visions of a possible future. So everyone else is like, well, it's a little more serious than that, because he doesn't see them, he experiences them, and so do we, or everyone who's involved. And so there's been one of you, and it's really serious, and it's really bad, and that's why everyone's here. So we go back to the courtroom, and it's from Carol Danvers' perspective. So she's telling them, hey, we're telling them that the Inhumans' visions had come true, and that we've acted on them. And so then we go back to the flashback. And Tony is explaining again, we're seeing that a more reserved position from Tony Stark. And he's saying, hey, we've got a moral dilemma here. There's an issue. And Bruce Banner gets it. He's saying, hey, it's either wait for me to Hulk out or stop me before it happens. And again, we're going back to Tony Stark, who's saying, hey, we've made a deal. This isn't serious. We need to see some sort of proof before we do something. And that everybody has agreed with me on that. And then right on cue, we get our proof. And the proof is coming from Beast, or Dr. Henry McCoy, who has hacked into Bruce Banner's systems and pulled up his research, and found out that he actually is experimenting on himself. So we go into the next tabs, and we see, okay, yes, Beast has confirmed that Bruce Banner is experimenting on himself, which is obviously part of the vision. And so now Tony Stark is kind of realizing, hey, I may be losing this battle here to try to save you. But we also are getting frustrated looks from Bruce Banner. And Beast goes on to explain the research. Bruce is injecting himself with dead gamma cells. And we're seeing some shock from Peter Parker, who, of course, we know is a scientist himself. and those sorts of things. And then Tony goes in. He was like, "Hey, man, why didn't you just tell us? We've got a lot of great minds here. You can talk to us about your experimentation. We can have everybody look at what you're doing." But he's like, "No, I've been out here experimenting and it's been working. I've kept the Hulk away. Hulk hasn't come out." So Director of Shield says, "You know what? Let's just place you under arrest. It's still not a big deal. Don't just come in quietly." And you have Thor there, whose posture is becoming a little more elevated, and she's saying, "Don't make this difficult. Obviously she's taking the role of the muscle in this situation." And Bruce is again pleading with everyone, saying, "Hey, it's been my experiments that's kept the Hulk away. You guys are accusing me of something that I haven't done." So then moving on to the next page, we get the gavel kind of drops here, and we get the climactic event, and that's an arrow coming out of the trees and striking Bruce Banner. So it's splattering blood all over Carol and Tony, and Bruce Banner's laying on the grass, seemingly dead. And then we go back to the courtroom, where Carol Danvers says, everybody takes charge. So we go full on, attack the trees. No one really knows what happened, but they know it came from the bushes. So you see their guys jumping right into action. Whoever's in the bushes yells out, "Stop." He drops his weapon. And then we go back to Tony Stark, who is absolutely shocked. He's absolutely livid. And he's saying, "Hey, this is exactly what I wanted to prevent. We can't go out here doing this stuff, and you've attacked my friend." So he looked into the bushes, and everybody's like, "This is you," kind of a surprise. And then the gavel drops again when we see it's actually Hawkeye. So we go back to the courtroom, and we see that this whole trial and this whole situation is the trial of Hawkeye, for the death of Bruce Banner. So Hawkeye's sitting in the courtroom. Matt Murdock asks, Carol Danvers to point out the person who shot Bruce Banner, and there he is. He's sitting there in the courtroom. So then we're moving on, and what we're seeing further is that this is being broadcast all over the world. So people are watching this from outside the courtroom on television as well. So a lot of the stuff that's being revealed in the courtroom is being revealed to the public at the same time, which I'm sure, we talked about this before, how Marvel is using the public and public opinion in there as almost a character in the comics nowadays. And we see how this might be coming into play in this situation as well. It was a very big factor in the Civil War event, the first Civil War event. So there's no reason why it wouldn't be in Civil War II. So I think, we're introducing the situation to the public here is going to turn into a big deal later on. That's just my opinion. So you see Carol Danvers, questioning Hawkeye, saying, "Hey, why did you do that?" Captain America steps in like, "Hey, he needs to answer. We need to understand what's going on here. We need to understand his train of thought." And we go back to Hawkeye, and he's crying, and then we see him in courtroom, and he's saying that it was Bruce Banner that asked him to shoot him. So again, we go back to a scene of, the public is seeing this just as we are in the courtroom, and they are as shocked as everyone else. So then we see a flashback of Bruce Banner visiting Hawkeye. So he comes in, and he's telling him about his research, saying that, "Hey, yeah, I've been, out here reclusive, and studying myself, doing some research, and I haven't turned into a Hulk over a year." And Hawkeye's like, "Man, that's great. That's awesome." But Bruce still looks grim. So he slides a box to him. He's like, "Well, what is this? What are you saying?" And he's like, "This is kind of basically what he's saying, that this is, my final option. If everything goes wrong and I still end up turning into the Hulk, I need to die. And I need you to be the one to do it, because I know that, one, you can, and two, You're the person who it won't drive insane, who won't will get over it the quickest because you'll know it's the right thing to do. You're the one I trust. So he goes into basically further details, and at first Hawkeye says no, like, hey, I'm not gonna do this. And again, you know, Bruce Banner kind of describes why he's doing this, and basically he's saying that, hey, the Hulk's still in there. I dream as the Hulk, and anyone who's kind of followed the Hulk in the comics, and even this is sort of played out a lot, and the Hulk as we've seen him on the big screen, and the small screen even on television with the old Incredible Hulk series, is that Bruce Banner as a character is someone that's tormented by the fact that he is the Hulk. He hates the fact that he's the Incredible Hulk. He wants to get rid of the Hulk. He's gone through extreme measures in the past to try to get rid of the Hulk persona. The Hulk has always come back. He's always survived. He even tried merging his own persona with the Hulk. And, that even, the Hulk itself kind of overpowered that and overcame that. So, he's at the end of his rope here. He's like, you know what, this is, I'm gonna take some extreme measures. I'm gonna go up into the country and I'm gonna work on this. But if this fails, this is it. I don't want to be the Hulk anymore. So if this fails, take me out, and that's it. Period. So that's kind of the offer that he presents to Hawkeye, and then we go back to the courtroom, and the crowd again is shocked at hearing all of this information. So Hawkeye is saying that, hey, if Hulk is gonna come out, then Bruce Banner himself instructed me to take him out. So Matt Murdock is continuing to do his lawyer thing. He's like, hey, you're the only one present. I need, what proof do you have that this conversation even happened? This is BS. We don't believe it. Prove it. And he's pointing out, hey, Hawkeye, you've had a spotty record in the past, talking about Hawkeye's origins, and he's like, hey, I hope you don't bring up my past, and I hope you consider my present, the things that I've done, that has really paid off to the benefit of mankind. And again, we're seeing this is like must-see TV. All of the X-Men we have here sitting around the TV watching this. And then Dr. McCoy, Beast, is brought back onto the stand, and he explains the science behind the arrow tip, and that's what we're all kind of wondering, like how is it that when Bruce Banner, everybody of course remembers the movie scene from Avengers where Mark Ruffalo explains that, hey, he's tried to take off the big guy himself. He shot himself in the head, and the big guy just spits the bullet out. So he's like trying to figure out what happened, and again he has gone in and done some forensics on Bruce Banner's kind of his network, and gone in depth into his research about what was going on. Found his digital diary, and saying that, yes, he's confirming basically Hawkeye's story. Bruce Banner left a video. He's taken it upon himself to ask Hawkeye to kill him. So Matt Murdock comes back with, well, he didn't Hulk out. Hawkeye's saying, well, he was about to. I'm Hawkeye. I recognize these things. I see stuff that people don't see. And I'm telling you, he was about to Hulk out. I could see that flicker of green in his eyes. It was inevitable. It was imminent, and I had to take action. So that was, his reasoning for it. And then we go back to again showing that this is being shown to the public. So here is an image of what looks like most likely is Times Square. You have Spider-Man, Miles Morales, watching this on the big screen along with everyone else, including some guy over here in the corner who looks a lot like Stan Lee, but it's only the back of his head, so it might not be. But this is must see TV for everyone. Again, everyone is watching this. We have here, all these heroes who are tuning in as well. So this isn't some information that people that that's inside information to heroes. All of this stuff is coming out to everyone all at the same time. So again, I think we're setting up a situation where we have a divided public, where we have a divided hero community for this civil war, as we have seen in the past. So then, Murdoch's like, well, what have you been doing with this information? And Carol Danvers presents some examples. She's like, yes, we have been using it, and here are some examples. And Murdoch's trying to get further into the truth. Like, hey, how do you know that this stuff is real? How do you know that these visions are real? And and the actions that you're taking are actually leading to them being stopped. And you're saying that basically she completely believes in taking action on these visions. She believes that she's been in the right when they've taken action in the past. And again, this is all being presented to the public. Like, hey, we've already been doing this. And the public is hearing this for the first time. So then we go back to Tony Stark on the stand, and he's saying, hey, let's stop this. Stop the nonsense. Let's say what this is, and this is murder. He does not believe, and again, we're solidifying his position on the matter, that he does not believe that this is justified. This is murder to him. He doesn't like it, and he wants to see this stopped immediately. And he's like, hey, Murdoch, you're not asking the wrong questions. We need to be asking the right questions, and why are you murdering people? So again, you have to think about Tony Stark's mindset here. He's lost Rhodey already, and now another friend in Bruce Banner, someone he greatly respects. And he's saying, like, hey, you caused this. If you hadn't have come here, this wouldn't have happened. You caused this. So this situation that we're in is because you took action. If you hadn't taken action, we might not even be here right now. And he's like, who's next? What are you gonna do about, what's the next situation? Who's coming next? So then we start to see, as the Inhumans take Ulysses away, we start to see some people who are agreeing with Tony Stark, specifically Miss Marvel, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Nova. And they're all like, hey man, this is kind of weird. This isn't what I signed out for. It's kind of what the thing we kind of get from them. So we also see that the jury has reached its verdict. So the foreman hands the verdict to the judge, or the bailiff, that is, hands the verdict to the judge. And then we cut away from the court, and we go to Tony Stark in his lab, and we see Tony Stark. He's talking to Mary Jane Watson, and she's like, "Hey, we have the verdict here," and he thinks he knows it already. He's like, "I'm not even gonna look at it, not right now." But then we have Friday pop in and say, "Hey, we've analyzed Ulysses, and we know exactly what his visions are." So he's like, "Yeah, show me the data," and then we have what appears to be something they weren't expecting. So this is kind of the cliffhanger that they leave us with, but nobody was expecting this to be what Ulysses was seeing. So it's somewhat of a shocker. So we'll have to wait on the next issue, but I'm really excited about it. So yeah, Tony Stark and Mary Jane know the truth behind the truth, and we won't get to see exactly what's happening until later on. But this is really shaping up to be something really interesting. So as always, Marvel has introduced us to a really interesting concept, and with this crossover, the actual crossover has tie-in titles. So you have this is affecting the entire Marvel universe at this point. So all of the other heroes outside of what's happening right here are also involved. So, and then it's involved in their own titles. So we can see Marvel has a page here in the comic that shows us, here's the tie-in reading to read now, because this is the stuff that's just coming out. Invincible Iron Man number 11. You have Captain Marvel number 7, Civil War number 11, Civil War 2, Choosing Sides 2 and 3, Spider-Man number 2, Kingpin number 1. That sounds really interesting. Gods of War number 2, and then X-Men number 2. So that's kind of the tie-in reading, but there's also specific tie-ins that have to do with choosing sides specifically. So what it looks like is the black writing are Carol Danvers' side, and the white writing is Iron Man's side. So it's looking like either Old Man Logan or X-23 Wolverine is going to be on Iron Man's side. You have Shield behind Carol Danvers, Deadpool also behind Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel on Iron Man's side, possibly all or some of the new Avengers on Danvers' side. You have Nova on Iron Man's side, Hellcat Danvers' side, and then you have Power Man on and Iron Fist, and maybe even some of the other heroes for hire on Iron Man's side as well. Captain America Sam Wilson, Iron Man's side, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Iron Man's side. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of side choosing here. Spider-Man Danvers' side. All right, guys, I'm gonna stop it right here. Let me know what you guys think. Will Hulk stay dead? I really think he will. There's been a few announcements by Marvel that imply that he will stay dead for a little while. So I think he will, but maybe he won't. And give me your ideas about, if he returns, how will that happen, and what will be the kind of the circumstances. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of the video as a whole. If you like these kind of videos, I'll do more of them. But I thought this was a pretty good deal, pretty big deal to talk about the death of the Incredible Hulk. Very major in comics in general. So with that, I'll end this here. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.